Today we are going to discuss about the ways in which we can create a VF page and the programming. So let us start. Next, look at the point. In how many ways we can create VF page? In how many ways we can create a VF page? As we already discussed, standard navigation using URL, developer console, these are inbuilt. Salesforce inbuilt. Rest of the three are third-party systems or third-party web services. We'll go with standard navigation. So what is the standard navigation we have to create a VF page? The standard navigation is setup, build, develop, lightning bolt, then we had Visual Force page. Now, setup, build, develop, lightning bolt, and Visual Force page. Look at the format. Setup, build, develop, lightning components, Visual Force page. I just gave lightning bolt here. Should be a lightning components. Lightning components, Visual Force page. Develop, lightning components, Visual Force page. Then it will ask you to enter. It will ask you to enter the page name, new, where you are supposed to enter the page name, page 1, then in the body you can write whatever you want. Page 1, when I give page 1, save, what is the option we have here? When I click on the preview, the page will load. Right, this is how we are getting the output. This is how we are getting the output. Right, boss? So, what is the navigation we had? Once you're done, step number 1, enter page name. Step number 2, enter the body of the page. Save. This is how we are going to look at the preview. Right, Amma? Setup, build, develop, lightning components, Visual Force pages. Okay. Then click on new. Then enter the page name. Enter the body of the page. Save. Go for the preview. I hope you are good with this. Right. Now let us go to the second one. What is the next format we had? Using URL. Now, I want to create Visual Force page using a URL. Here the first point is whenever we want to create Visual Force page using a URL, first we have to enable development mode. What we need to enable? Development mode we need to enable. If you enable the development mode, what is the advantage we have? When I open any page, at the footer, I get the editor, so that I can modify the code from the same page. Right now what we are doing, we are going to another page, writing the program, clicking on the preview. If I enable the development mode on the same page, at the footer, editor will open. I can modify the code from the footer. Whatever the changes I made, that is applied for the page. That means we can preview the output on the same page. We are able to write the code, we are able to code and preview output from the same page. Okay. Now what should I do to enable the development mode? When I want to enable development mode, go to setup, administer, manage users, user, setup, administer, manage users, go to the particular user, scroll down. Here we are getting enable development mode. Enable development mode. Enable development mode. Once I enable the development mode, then I need to use the URL to open it. So first, let me give you the navigation. If you want to create or open the developer editor, using URL, we need to enable development mode for the user. What is the navigation we had? Now tell me your navigation. Setup, administer, manage users, choose the user, edit, click on edit button, enable development. Okay, at least I can give them as a steps here. You find its navigation is lengthy. Go to the users, choose the user, click on then we had enable the development mode. Enable the development mode checkbox. Save it. Once you are done with this, development mode will be enabled. Once the development mode is enabled, how do you open the page? Once the development mode is enabled, how do you open the page? Now, URL to open the page. If any VF page is there, how do you open it? If any VF page is there, How do you open the VF page? Look at the point. It is HTTPS, your server instance. When it says server instance, ap8.com, na4.com, okay, your server instance dot salesforce.com / apex / how are you opening? Salesforce.com / apex / vf page name. 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 This is how we are giving. Now, if you go to my server, what is the instance we have? AP15. So here we have here AP8 dot. My server is AP8. Just now we created a page called page 1. How to create a new VF page using URL. That is to open the existing page. If you want to create any new page, what should I do? Same story. Page name. If the URL exists, if the page exists with the given name, then if the page exists with the given name, then page will open. Otherwise it throws error message. When we click on the error message, show you. Shows the links to create the page. So when you click on the link, page will be created. When we click on the link, new page will be created. So what is that? When I give a URL, it will see whether the page exists or not. If the page exists with the particular page name, page will open. If the page does not exist with the same name, then it throws error message and give you one link. When I click on the link, it will create one new VF page with a given name. Is that was clear? Right? Now let me show you an example. Apex / page. There is no VF page with the name called page 2. Then error message is thrown. Then there is a link. Create a page. Paste. Error message we got, and we got a link. When you click on the link, we got here. Page is created here. Now at the bottom we are getting a footer, right? We can modify the code from here. This example. Then I can click on this button. This is called save. Okay, this is called save. If you want to go to a particular line, this is how we got it. Now if I want to go to any particular line, click on this line number 4. It takes you to the particular line. It takes you to the particular line. Go to particular line. This is undo. The changes what I made, you're able to undo it. Redo. Right. This is to increase the font, decrease the font. Basically, this is the save. This is to go to a particular line. Okay, this is to search for a particular word. Search. Now I want to say search. You want to search for a particular keyword, you can search. Save, search, go to a particular line, undo, redo, fonts. Now this is to, right now we got editor, right? Pull down the editor. This is, when I click on this, development mode will be disabled. When I click on this, development mode will be disabled. No more footer. I hope you got my point here. So what we have, basically, in case you want to, what is the advantage? When small changes need to be made on existing page, I can do from here. When small changes need to be made on the existing page, I can do it from here. I hope you're good. This is the second way of creating. What is the third way we have? I hope everyone is good with this. Right. Then third one. This is the regular way what we use. This is the actual procedure what we follow. Product trading using developer console. By using developer console. When you say developer console, how do you open it? User, developer console, then we find file, new, Visual Force. File, new, Visual Force page. File, new, Visual Force page. Right, boss? User, developer console, file, Visual Force page, the enter page name, enter body, and we can click on. Where is the preview button? We go to developer console, enter the page, we are clicking on save. What is the preview button here? Right. If you are finding star mark here, what does that mean? Either the changes what you made not saved, or there is an error in the page. When you are trying to preview, if you are finding a star mark there is an error in the page, or you are not saved the program. So when I give Control S, if everything is good, then the page is going to be saved. If you are finding the star there is error in the page, or the new changes what you made, they are not saved. So these are the three regular ways in which we are going to create VF page. I hope you are good with this. Am I clear? Am I clear with this? Right. Now, let us get into the version. Which version of API we are using here? 45. You are able to see here? Which version of API we are using? 45. Okay. You are putting 3 years of experience, right? What are the versions on which you worked? You all are putting 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years of experience. What are the versions of API you work on with? So yearly 2 versions are generally 3, but they release hardly 2. So minus number of years into 2. Right. So current version what we are using is 45.0. Right. I hope you are good with this structure. Okay. Now let us get into the VF page. The first element we are going to learn here. The first element we are going to learn. I hope the basic structure of creating the VF page is clear. And the VF page is going to have an extension of VFP, Visual Force Page. Now, this is internally stored in the form of XML. They will be converted to the form of XML and stored back to the metadata. Stored back to the what? Metadata repository. Right. Now, look at this. First component what we have. Apex. The first component what we have is Apex page. The first component what we had is Apex page. Okay. Can you discuss this at the end of the class? We are opening, you're going with the Apex page. Apex section header. Expression format. Then we are going to learn this couple of components and basic examples. The first one, how do you write comments in the Visual Force page? How to write comments in the Visual Force page. This is the comments in the page. So for the new people who are new to the programming, when you say comments, whatever we write in this, they will not execute. Whatever we write in the comment, that will not execute. Only to print the description, to convey what it is, we will be writing the comments. Comment will not execute. Whatever we write in the comment, that will not execute. So how do you write the comments in the Visual Force? This is the symbol. How are you writing the comments? This is how we are going to write comments. Okay. Now, always when you are writing any program, have a practice of putting author, description, then version. In case you are modifying the program, last modified, okay, updated date. So have the basic information about this. Author, description, version, created date. Now, we are trying to start with the first one. Right. Already I told you clearly, when you write your program should speak your experience. The naming conventions what you follow, the format of the variables you take, okay, the practice, okay, the good practices of the programming what you follow should convey what is your experience. Output you may get the same. But when you look at the program, people can understand whether you are a experienced developer or a fake guy. By looking at the program, we can convey it. So it is not important about the output. It's important about what are the good practices you are following, implementing the programming. What are the different naming conventions you are following? So the way you write the program, the naming conventions, good practices, what you follow will convey what you want. And the second point, the program is not your asset. It is the asset of the company. Tomorrow, if somebody want to open on the same program, he should understand what it is. He should not find it difficult in understanding it. So always when you write a program, ensure that you specify the comments at the required locations and you follow the proper naming conventions so that the guy who is going to work next to you should feel the comfort in working it. At least when you are working after 6 months on the same program, you should know what it is. I should not break my head to understand the program. There is a reason. Always follow certain naming conventions. When I look at that, I should tell it is a class. It is a variable of particular object. It is a variable of particular class table. It is a variable of particular S object. It is a class. It is an interface. It is a software. It is a DML. The way you specify by looking at that, I should tell it's a list. It is a set. It's a map. So the name itself it should convey what it is, so that it is easy for the developer to understand what it is instead of going through hundreds of lines in understanding what exactly it is. Right? So always the major thumb rule is to obey good practices of your programming and induce comments wherever it is necessary. Induce comments wherever it is necessary. Whenever you are trying to modify any one of the existing code, specify the comments on it, what you have modified. What you have modified. What made you to modify this? Specify the comments. Now define this one. Let us go to the next. We are going with the first one here. What is the first one here? We want to convey apex. What is this apex page? Right. Now the apex page. Every VF page will start and close with apex page. Every VF page, you can say, apex is a predefined component. Apex is a predefined component. Sorry. Page is a predefined component. Then what is that? What is that apex? Apex is a namespace. What is that namespace you are speaking about? I told apex page. Page is the component which Salesforce has defined. What is that apex? It is a namespace. Now look at the format. I have a product. Right. I have a product. I have a employee. Here I told name. In the product we have a name, price, I have the data. Now when I say name, in both the cases we have a name. When I say name, in both the cases we have a name. But according to this, I told name maximum 15 characters. In the employee, I told name of the employee maximum 80 characters. When I say name, the variable is a name, but the properties are not same, right? So whenever I say name, which name are you referring to? Are you referring to the name of a product? Or are you referring to the name of an employee? Because both their properties are not same. When I say I am referring to a name in the product, the length is 15 characters. When I am referring to the name in the employee, length is 80 characters. But both of them have the common. What is that? Name. When I say name, it is not a global definition that everybody follows same property. It is not a global definition that everybody follows same property. Now I told amount. When I say amount, it means the price of the product. When I say amount here, it is the annual revenue of the I'm going to take annual revenue as amount here. Here, amount they are taking as rupees. Here I'm taking as dollar. So when I say amount, they give 1,000. What is this 1,000? 1,000 rupees or $1,000? Now they have their own definition, right? The amount in the product is rupees. It is going to convey price of the product. Amount in the employee is annual revenue, is going to represent in the form of dollars. Now, when you have the same thing in multiple elements, there is a possibility of conflict. There is a possibility of conflict. When I say amount, are you speaking about the amount in the employee, or are you speaking about amount in the product? Am I right? When I say I told Ravi, now let us say I was taking a 321 batch. In this batch I told Ravi. Now Ravi from 321 batch will come. I was taking a lightning class. In that 2-3 batch people will be sitting together. Right? So probably 50-50 from one batch. I am getting 3 batch students in a single class. Now when I say Ravi, there is a possibility that 321 Ravi may be there, 320 Ravi may be there, 322 Ravi may be there. Which Ravi will respond? There is a conflict. All the 3 will respond. Then I have to say Ravi from 321 batch. Why I am using this? To remove conflict. Like that, when I say name, we have a conflict. Then what I am doing? I am saying name from product. Boss, I am referring to the name with the properties which are defined in product. Here I am saying employee. I am referring to the name from employee with the properties of the employee. I hope you are getting my point. Like this, when you define Apex, all the properties of the page, what is the meaning of the page, what it will do, what it is supposed to act, everything is defined in the Apex. I hope you are good with this. Okay, it is a predefined namespace. I hope you are good. Next, every VF page will start and end with Apex page. Every VF will start and end with Apex page. Every VF will start and end with Apex page. Then we have attributes. What are the attributes? Attributes are the properties. Now look at the story. First attribute, ID. What is this ID? Look at the point. I want to refer to second input text. Tell me, how do you refer? I want to refer to second input text. How will you refer? All the 4 are same, right? When all the 4 are same, how do you refer to a particular element? I want to refer to second input text. I want to refer to third input text. How will you refer? How will you refer? Now in this group of students, if I want to call a particular student, I will call you with your name. What is your name? Name is the ID for you. Name is the ID for you. With that ID, I was able to recognize you uniquely in this group of people. When I say Ravi, come here, I am referring to Ravi. I am referring to Ravi. When I say Kiran, come here, I am referring to Kiran. In this group of students, if I want to refer to a particular student, I refer with the ID. So what is that ID? It is a string. It is a string, unique string given to you to recognize you or refer you in the group of elements. When you have a group of students, if I want to call you, you have a name. With that name, I am calling you. In the program, when I have thousands of lines, if I want to call any particular element, if I want to refer to any particular element, how do I recognize? With the help of ID. I hope you got my point. Clear? So what is ID? Now I'll give here ID 1. So I'll be able to refer them. Refer to the element whose ID is 2. Refer to the element whose ID is 3. Right? So what is this ID? attribute name, type of attribute, first. The ID is ID. What type of value is this? What type of value is string? What is the description of this? This is a unique string. String assigned to component. Using this ID, we can refer to the component using this ID we can refer to the component element in the page. Right. Next, let us go to the second one. I hope you got my point, right? Next one we have here we have show. What is the show header? Boolean value. When this is set as to Salesforce standard header and sidebar will be displayed. When set as false, standard header and sidebar will be displayed. Sidebar will be hidden. Default value is true. What is the default value? Now the default value is true. Default value is true. Now, what is the meaning of this? Save this page. When you save this page, click on the preview. You are able to see here Salesforce header is coming, sidebar is coming. Whatever I typed, you are getting as a body. Salesforce header is coming, body is coming, Salesforce header is coming, sidebar component is coming, and we are getting a body. So when you say show header equal to true, this will be displayed. By default, it is what? By default, it is true. If you don't define, it is a true. I gave show header equal to false. Then what happened? Salesforce header sidebar is removed from the context. I hope you are good. Now, let us move on to the next one. I hope you are good. Standard header and sidebar. Next one. Sidebar. If you look at this, how my attribute names are coming here, boss? Always the attribute names will be in lower camel. Always the attribute names will be in lower camel. Look at this. Show header, S small, H capital. Sidebar, S small, B capital. Okay. What type of value is this? What was this? When set as to Salesforce standard sidebar will be displayed. When set as false, Salesforce standard sidebar will be hidden. Default value is true. What is the default value? Now I was giving a sidebar, single element here. It is single element. Okay. Now when I say sidebar equal to false, header is coming, but sidebar is hidden. Header is coming, sidebar is hidden. I hope you are good with this. Next one. Now when you open any page, we are going to get a setup menu, right? Setup, administer. Now I don't want the sidebar components. I want setup menu like administer, build, monitor. Okay, your deploy. I want the setup menu. So I have an option here, setup boolean. What is the setup? When set as true, Salesforce force.com setup will be displayed. Set as false, Salesforce sidebar components default value is what is the default value? We had the default value as false. So here we had setup equal to, by default it will take false because sidebar should be displayed by default. If you want setup menu, we have to forcefully enable it, right? We're reading a setup menu and this is the body, right? If you want the setup menu, then we are giving setup equal to true. So we have ID, show header, sidebar, setup. Now rendered. What is this rendered? Should I display this page or not? Rendered means should I display or not? When you say rendered equal to true, display. Rendered equal to false, page will not be displayed. Rendered, should I display or not? If it is true, page will be displayed. Content of the page will be displayed. Otherwise, that element will not be displayed. Do you want the page to be displayed or not? So we give boolean value. When set as true, apex page, content of apex page, when set as false, content will be hidden. Then by default the value is true. Default value is true. That is the reason, irrespective of whether you specified or not, you are able to see the output of the page. You are able to see the output of the page because by default it is true. Then I told rendered equal to false. Okay. Now nothing is displayed. So content of the page will not be displayed. Rendered, should I show or not? Rendered, should I show or not? I hope you're good with this. Then we have action. Now, when the page is loading, you want some URL to be called, you want some method to be executed. When the page is loading, at the time of loading the page, you want some action to happen automatically. That will be defined as apex action. this can be this will be invoked automatically when we load the page. Right. This is how we got it. Now, what is the action? This can be a URL of a page. This can be a URL of a page or method from Apex class. Now, look at the point here. As of now, there is no classes we have seen in the VF page. I'll give some URL. Then I told preview. What happened? The same page is not opening. I'll just close off. There is no pages here, right? Preview. Automatically, which page is opening? Right. Congratulations. What is supposed to be printed here? This is the data which should be printed. But it is printing the data of Apex page. Because when I load the page, automatically it is going to that particular page. When I'm calling the page, automatically it is going to that particular page. Right? Action. Now this can be a method or this can be a URL. Right now we are not seeing any methods. So I have just used the URL here. Okay. Then API version. You can say number. This will specify version of the API. This will specify version of the API we are using. By default, latest version will be taken. What is the latest version? The current version is you want to use the older version, you can use it. Now there is a functionality in 44.0. If that functionality is not there in 45.0, then I can do what? I can apply version number 44.0 and use it. Then we have next. Next we have here render as. Render as. This will generate the page in the form of PDF. You want to see the output in the form of PDF. You want to see the content of this page in the form of PDF. Then you say render as PDF. Go back here. Look at the point. Apex page, render as the content of the page is generated in the form of PDF. Now, this is an invoice page, let us say, or this is an order page. Programmatically, I have created an invoice page. Programmatically, I have created an order page, which I want to send in the email. Are you getting my point? Now, programmatically, I have generated a order page. Whatever the orders you have placed. This I want to send as an email to the customer. So, I want to render this page in the form of PDF. Okay. Next, we had I want to see the content of the page like Excel sheet. I want to see the content of the page like an Excel sheet. I want to see the content of the page like a CSV. I want to see the content of the page in XYZ format. So what we can do? Content type. Content type. So type type. Now this will specify in which format, in which form the body of the page should be loaded. This will specify in which form body of the page should be loaded. Example. MS Word hash example.doc. So the page will be rendered in the form of Word document. MX Excel hash example.doc. The page will be generated in the form of Excel sheet. Or I can say text HTML. This I can mention the format. In which format the content of the page should be rendered. The body of the page should be rendered in which format. The body of the page should be rendered in which format. Let me show you this. Page. Content type. MS Word hash page.doc. When I saved, look at this, some file is downloaded. What is the page that we got here? What was that? We got the document in the form of Word document. Same we can generate in the form of Excel. Right? So we are just saying content of the body is in which format. The body of the page is rendered in the form of what? In which format the content is defined. Then we had standard controller. What was that? This will specify name of the S object which we are using in the page. Then we have controller. So we specify basically it's a string. But to make it understandable for you, I am giving it here. Here also it is a string. This will specify name of the Apex class, which we want to use, in the VF. Right, boss? Still there are many more properties. We are just looking at the basic properties what we need. Then we had content of the page will be in the readable format. This is how we are doing. I hope you are good with this. Right, Amma? Okay. Now this is how we have created. Let us get into the next one. So this is basically the first page what we created. Whatever you want to create, that should be in Apex page. Every page will open with every page will open with, every page will open and close with, okay, will open and close with apex page, will open and close with apex page. I hope you are good with this. I hope you are good with this example, right? Properties are clear. Right. Every page will open. These are the basic properties. Down the line, when you keep using it, you'll remember the properties. These are frequently used properties. There are many more. We'll see down the line. Right. Now, once I created a VF page, then I want to go to the second element. What is my second element? Apex section. What is this apex section header? Now, if you open any object, what are you getting here? This is header here, right? Contact, home. Opportunity, opportunities, home. Forecast, contracts, contracts, home. Orders, orders, home. What is this called? Header. What you are finding here? It's called header. If you want to create header for the page, then we call it as section header. So what is the element we are taking here? Section header. What was that element? Section header. So we have apex section header. So I'll put it in the comments. Apex section header. Now what was the purpose of this? This will create header for the page. This will create header for the page. This will be the first element of the page. So first I will try to show the output. Then I'll go to the properties. Apex section. Am I writing any body here? I'm not typing any body. So what did I give? Open the section header, close. Because I don't want to print anything in between. When I say section header, you got the logo. This is a fixed logo. You want to use your own logo, then this is not the concept. You have to go for a concept called image. When I say section header, whenever I say section header, this is the fixed image. That image cannot be altered. If you want to take your own image, then this is not the concept. You have to go for image concept. Whenever you take section header, it always comes with a home symbol. Then I have title. Title equal to student. Title equal to student. Subtitle. New student. Title, subtitle. Title, subtitle. Then here we have description. Title, subtitle, description. Description is coming below the title. Then we are giving, let us say we have body. What is the meaning of BR? Break and go to next line. If we don't give BR, it will be printed on the same line. BR is to go. Now this is the body. We had title, subtitle, description. This is the body. Title, subtitle, description, body. Now we have help. When I say help, in the page we are going to get a link. When you click on the link, which page has to be open? I told when somebody click on help, when somebody click on the help, which page should be open? You're getting here, right? Help for the page. This is a fixed message. When I say this is a fixed message, when you click on this, which page should be opened? I told page 1. Now URL of the page which has to be given. URL of the page. Now why I was giving apex/page1? Why I was giving apex/page1? Now you want to come to Amirpet. You want to come to my classroom. You are in US. I want to tell you the address. What I will do? India, Telangana, Hyderabad, Amirpet, Maitrivanam, Shamla Plaza. Okay, third floor. My classroom will be. Now you are already in Hyderabad. Then will I tell the address? Come to India, Telangana, Hyderabad, no, right? You are already in Hyderabad. So what I will tell? Amirpet, Maitrivanam, Shamla Plaza, third floor. You are already in Maitrivanam, Shamla Plaza, third floor. Now there is two different addresses I am giving. One is relative address. One is absolute address. Another one is relative address. Absolute means, right, you are in Amirpet, but my address is India, Telangana, Hyderabad, Amirpet, Maitrivanam, Shamla Plaza, third floor. You are in Shamla Plaza. Okay, India, Hyderabad, okay, Telangana, Hyderabad, okay, Amirpet, Maitrivanam, Shamla Plaza, third floor. This is what? Absolute address. You may be at any location. I am giving complete path. Relative address. You are in Amirpet. So I will tell you are in Amirpet, Maitrivanam, Shamla Plaza, third floor. You are in, okay, Maitrivanam. I will say Shamla Plaza, third floor. Right? You are in Telangana, Hyderabad, Amirpet, Maitrivanam, Shamla Plaza, third floor. This is called relative address. From the location where you are, I am telling remaining path. From the location where you are, I am telling the remaining path. It's what? Relative address. Now what did I give here? Already I logged into Salesforce, right? When already I logged into Salesforce, why you want to say API server, Salesforce in that Apex? Because already I logged into my server, so I'm saying Apex page name. So what I gave here? A relative address. So when I say /apa.salesforce.com, na4.salesforce.com, right? From the current location, I am giving the remaining path because I already logged in. No need to mention the server and the salesforce.com. We can straight away give /remaining path. So what did I give there? Help equal to a relative path of the page which you want to open. Now I want to open a Google page. Then I'm not in the Google server. So what I was supposed to give? Now this is absolute path. Because we are in Salesforce, we are trying to call a Google page. We are in the Salesforce, we are trying to call a Google page, which is not Salesforce server, right? So I gave absolute path. But when you are trying to call any one of the VF page, we can straight away give /apex. So what was this? A relative path we have mentioned. A relative path of the VF page which you want to open. Is that was clear for everyone? Right. Now the next question is: do you want to display this? Rendered. When I say rendered equal to false, don't display. Is that was clear for everyone? Right? So by default it is a true. If you want to make it false, we will use it. By default it is a true. If you want to disable it, you will make it false. I hope you are good with this. So what are the properties we had here? First one we have title. What type of value is this? This will be displayed. Second one. Now, what type of value is this? This will be displayed as a subtitle for the Then we had description. This will display below the header, below the description for the page. We have this will specify absolute or path of the page which need to be opened. This will specify absolute or relative path of the page which should be opened when user clicks on the next we had rendered. What was that? It is a Boolean value. When set as true, content of the by default, remember, on every element we are going to have rendered. When set as false, default value is 2. Right. So this is how we have created basic properties. Right. Help rendered. I hope you are good with this. Section header, title, subtitle, description, help. Then we can go with the body part of the page. People can go with this example. So design this example of start designing in examples. Start designing these examples. Write these 4 examples. Start designing one by one, just to get the practice of the attributes. Go with the first example. Go with the first example. How are you designing the first example? Apex, section, mute your mic. Now, why I'm opening and closing in the same line? I'm not writing anything in the body. Then design the second example. What is the second example we had? In the second example, we had only same block. I was giving just to observe the properties. Third example, I ask you to take title and subtitle. Then fourth example, help description. Fourth example, I ask you to take help and description. So I had that page 1 is already there. That's the reason I am opening it. The page was already there. I created a page 1. Can I write it in multiple lines? You can write it in multiple lines, no issue. So this is how we have created. So we have the properties like title, title and subtitle, title, subtitle, help, description. Last one we had rendered. Rendered means display or not to display. Now depends upon the option what you have selected. I want to give header as student or employee. I have a pick list field. If you click on a button, student button, header should come like a student. If you click on a experience, header should come as employee. So what I will do? Rendered, display, employee, hide, student. Show the student, hide, employee. Are you getting my point? What is the purpose of rendered? I have two headers. But when you load the page, only one header should be displayed. If I select student, student header should be displayed, employee should be hidden. So I say rendered equal to false for employee, rendered equal to true for student. Now when I choose employee, show employee, hide student. Rendered equal to false for student, rendered equal to true for employee. So depends upon our context, we want to show or hide. I hope you are good. I have, so let's say you have a pick list, checkbox or pick list of where you got. If I select student, student header should come. If I select employee, employee header should come. So what I have done, I created two headers. One employee, one student. Okay, but only one should be displayed. At a time on a page, how many headers will be displayed? Only one. So I am saying rendered equal to true, rendered equal to false. How do you manage? Programmatically. I gave an example. How do you manage? Programmatically. When I choose the option as student, student header should be displayed, employee should be hidden. If I choose the option as employee, okay, student should be hidden, employee should be shown. There I'll use the concept of rendered. I hope you're good. One of the use case. I hope everyone is good with this. Okay. Now, this is the quick example of the two components. What you take it? Page and section header. Let me give one more example here. Expression. What is that expression? If you want to print any data, how will you print it? If you want to print any data dynamically, if you want to print data dynamically, we use expression format. What was that expression format? Floor bracket. When you used to write a formula, we used to use this. The same I used to give, expression format. So what I'm doing here, I'm giving, what is the expression there? Satish. The expression what I give is Satish. I was giving 10. Is null of, is blank of. So whatever the expression we wrote, the result of that expression will come. Whatever I wrote in the expression, the result will come. So let us see here. Satish I give. Satish is a string in the expression. So what is printed there? Satish will be printed. I give Satish plus Maila. Right. Then I give 10. Then what is the value of expression? 10 plus 30. What is the expression? Is null of 30. Is blank of Ravi. So whatever the expression we gave, the result of it will be printed. Whatever the expression we gave, result of it will be printed again. Look at this. You got Satish, Satish Maila, 10, 40, is null, false, is blank, false. Are you getting my point here? Whatever the expression I wrote, the result of the expression. Whatever the expression I gave, result of the expression will be printed here. Whatever the expression I gave, the result of that expression is printed here. What was this called? Expression format. Expression format. Whatever the expression we gave, result will be given. Using this expression format, we call variables of the Apex class. Methods from the Apex class. Fields of the So if you want to call a variable, if you want to call a method, if you want to call a table, we use expression format. How we use for class, we'll see one by one. But if you want to refer to any variable, if you want to refer to any method, if you want to refer to any table, what we are going to use? Expression format. If you want to refer to any variable, if you want to refer to any method, if you want to refer to any field, we will use expression format. I hope you are good with this, right? So that's all from my end for the day. We'll continue tomorrow.